Hi everybody, I'm back with class guitar video 5 for us today. I'm doing it a little bit early today. It's Tuesday. I'm going to be out, as I said last week, for my brother's wedding. Wayne is going to be taking over the class for me. I filled him in on everything that you are working on. So he'll go over Green Sleeves, Love Me Tender, and the study number 1, as well as the chromatic exercises, and hopefully you guys will have time to have some new stuff thrown at you. So for this video, that's what I'm going to do. It's going to get the video out there ahead of time, so that you have the video to work on and practice. So the first thing I want to talk about is a term that you've heard me throw around a few times, and that is the term called a power chord. A power chord is a 2 or 3 note chord that is neither major or minor. Alright, it consists of a root note. In this case, we're going to be doing open power chords, which the root note is going to be your open string, and the note 5 notes above it. Okay, so for example, I'm starting on the A string. Okay, if I count up 5 notes from A, I have A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and that's my power chord, just the open A and the E on the 2nd fret, next string down. You can hear how that's not a major or minor chord. It's leaving out the one note that makes it major or minor. Alright, it's a very rock and roll thing. You've heard these a million times. You can use the root and the 5th and also the 3rd note, the octave above that, kind of like that. Alright, but for the first class, I'd rather have you just concentrate on the 2-note version. Okay? Alright, so the first power chord on this sheet that they introduce is the one I just played. It's called the A power chord, or the A5 power chord. It's called a 5 chord because it consists again of just the root note and the note 5 notes above that note. So that's why you see them written as A5 or D5, E5, and so on. Okay, so the A5 chord looks like this. Alright, it's just the open A string with the E on the 2nd fret D string, and just those 2 notes. Alright, that's going to be part of the challenge of playing power chords right now. It's just striking the only 2 notes that you need, and not 5 strings, 4 strings, whatever. It's only a 2-note chord for now. Okay, see that? Here it is with my first finger. If you can see the strings vibrating, I'm just striking the A and the D string. Okay, the next one is going to look very, very similar. It's called the D5 power chord. In this case, I'm striking the open D string and the note 5 notes above that, which is A on the 2nd fret G string. Here's how that's going to sound. Okay, and my 2nd finger. You can do them either or, 1st or 2nd finger. Okay, the last one is going to be the E power chord. That's going to be the open low E string, alright, and the note 5 notes above that, which is B on the 2nd fret A string. It looks like that. Again, just 2 notes. You really got to have some pick control. Just strike the 2 notes that you're looking for. Okay, so again, A, A5 or A power chord, you have D, okay, and then you have low E, the E power chord. Okay, the little exercise that we have below is a little 12-bar blues pattern played using just power chords. Normally we use fuller chords like this, usually dominant 7th chords or major chords, but in this case they're just going to show you a 12-bar blues using power chords. Alright, you can use all downstrokes for these. Alright, go nice and slow. Alright, this will be a very familiar pattern. I'm sure you've heard it before. One more time, and I won't use a pick. The pick is making that sound really clicky right now, so one more time and I'll use my fingers so it's not so clicky. You can go ahead and use a pick at home. I'm just using a classical guitar, so it's sounding kind of nasty. So you hear it again, a little slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? Feel free to do it much slower. I was doing it kind of fast. I apologize for that. But it gives you a good idea of what it's going to sound like. Again, if you noticed, I was just using one finger for all these things, just my index finger. You can use your index finger or you can use your second finger. It's up to you for right now. Okay? When we get into movable shapes of the power chords, then there's a specific fingering that I'm going to want you to follow. But for now, I'll just suggest using your first or second finger. Alright, now I'm working backwards here. So, we have one more string to cover, and then we've had learned all the notes in the open position. So last thing I want to cover today is just the low E string, alright, the 6th string of the guitar, and then I'll play a few of the tunes that I have for you to work on. So we all know that the last string of the guitar is called the low E string, or the big E string, alright, it's down 2 octaves from your high E string. Alright, on the staff it's written down 3 ledger lines below the 3rd ledger line. Remember, you can tell that an E is an E on the staff if you take a pencil and just draw a line on the left side of those ledger lines, and you'll see that it spells an E. And that's open. It's the open 6th string all by itself. The next note you have is the F. That is 3 ledger lines down, and it sits on the 3rd ledger line. If you draw a line right next to that, you can kind of see how it spells an F. A little harder to see than the E, but you see an F in there. Okay? And moving along, 2 ledger lines down, and it's going to be below the line, you have G, and that's with your 3rd fret on the 3rd finger, with the 3rd finger. Okay, so it's the same exact fingering as your high E string, except the notes are going to be written much, much lower on the staff because we're into the bass register. Okay, be patient with the ledger lines, go nice and slow. Remember to go ahead and write your fingering if it helps. I also recommended using flashcards to help you with these notes. They do get more complicated to read because we don't have Every Good Boy Does Fine or Face to rely on like we do on the staff to help us remember the notes. It just takes a lot of practice to remember them. Okay? So I won't do the 6th string warm-up, that's pretty easy. String them up, that's number 87 on the page that introduces the low E string. Okay, one more time. Okay, there's going to be a lot of jumping around on that one on the last 3 bass strings with your pick. Again, take that real slow. You have low down, number 88. Short and sweet. One more time, a little slower. Okay, moving on to the next page, we have doo-wop, which is a nice little doo-wop bass line. This is in 3/4. And I think that should be a little faster. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, give my regards to Broadway. Sorry. 491, the last one, bass rock. And one more time on that. Okay, so there you go. That's everything that I want to work on as far as the low E string goes. Again, like I said, be patient with the legend lines. They come with time. We'll keep moving ahead, getting into more power chords, and hopefully we'll start doing some blues patterns next week, some blues progressions next week when I come back. Again, if there's any questions, be sure to email. We'll email Wayne this week because I'm going to be away. Unable to help, but then I will be back the following week, and we'll pick up where we left off. Hope everyone has a good one. Bye bye.